"Pay rent or leave," my sister-in-law screamed, like she owned the place. My brother stood behind her, arms crossed. Didn't say a word, didn't tell her to stop. I looked at the eviction notice she'd shoved in my face. 30 days. I folded it carefully, put it in my pocket. "We'll see about that," I said. What they didn't know, what nobody knew, was that my name was on the deed. Had been for 6 months. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. My name is Walter. I'm 72 years old. I have lived in the same apartment for 43 years. The building's in South Boston. Red brick. 4 stories. Built in 1952. My wife Helen and I moved into apartment 2B in 1982. 2 bedrooms. Hardwood floors that creaked in all the right places. Windows that looked out onto Dorchester Street. Helen died 3 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. 6 weeks from diagnosis to the end. After she passed, I stayed. Where else would I go? Every room had her in it. The kitchen where she'd made Sunday gravy for 30 years. The bedroom where we'd raised our daughter Emma. The living room where Helen had done her crossword puzzles in the blue armchair by the window. Emma lived 2 blocks away with her husband Michael and their daughter Sophie, my granddaughter. 8 years old. Smart as hell. I saw them every Sunday. Dinner at their place or mine. Michael wasn't my favorite person. Talked too much about his real estate business, not enough about anything that mattered. But he treated Emma well. That was enough. My brother Thomas lived in the building too. 3rd floor, 3A. Thomas was 68, retired electrician. He'd moved in 8 years ago after his divorce. I'd helped him get the place. Talked to the old landlord, Mr. Castellano. Put in a good word. Thomas had been struggling after the divorce. Lost the house, lost his savings. Needed somewhere affordable. We weren't close. Not like when we were kids. But he was family. You help family. Thomas remarried 5 years ago. Woman named Diane, 49 years old. Bleached blonde hair. Worked at a medical billing company. Talked like every sentence was an argument she was winning. I didn't like her. Never said it. But I didn't like her. Helen couldn't stand her. "That woman's got dollar signs in her eyes," she'd said after meeting Diane the first time. "Watch your wallet around her." Helen was right about people, always. After Thomas married Diane, things changed. He stopped coming by for coffee, stopped calling. When I'd see him in the hallway, he'd be polite but distant, like we were neighbors who didn't know each other. Diane ran the show. That was obvious. Thomas did what she said, wore what she picked out, went where she wanted, stopped talking to people she didn't approve of. Emma noticed too. "What happened to Uncle Thomas?" she'd asked once. "He used to be fun." "He got married," I'd said. 2 years ago, Mr. Castellano died. 86 years old. Heart attack in his sleep. His kids didn't want the building. They lived out of state. Wanted cash, not tenants and maintenance calls. They put it on the market. $1.4 million. I got the call from a real estate agent in March, some guy named Brad. "Mr. Sullivan, I wanted to give you a courtesy heads up. The building's been sold. New owners take possession May 1st. Just wanted you to know in case they decide to make changes." "What kind of changes?" "Renovations, rent increases. Sometimes new owners want to clear out long-time tenants, get market rate. But I'm sure you'll be fine." I wasn't sure of anything. I called Emma that night, told her what the agent said. "Dad, you can't let them kick you out. That's your home. I don't have a choice. I'm a tenant." "Then we'll fight it. There are laws, rent control, protections." This is Boston, Emma. Money talks. Old men in rent-controlled apartments don't. She was quiet for a moment. Then, "What if you bought it?" "Bought what?" "The building." "Dad, you could afford it." I could. Helen and I had been careful. Saved everything. I'd worked at the Navy Yard for 41 years. Machinist, union job, good pension. Helen had been a school secretary. We'd lived below our means. Invested in index funds back when nobody knew what those were. Paid off the mortgage on a rental property in Quincy we'd bought in 1989. When Helen died, I'd inherited everything. The rental property, the savings, The IRAs. The life insurance. I'd liquidated most of it. Didn't want to manage a rental anymore. Didn't want to think about investments. Put it all in a money market account and left it there. $1.7 million. Just sitting. Emma, I'm 70 years old. I don't want to be a landlord. Then hire someone to manage it. Dad, if you don't buy it, some developer will. They'll gut the place. Triple the rents. You'll be out. Uncle Thomas will be out. Mrs. Kowalski on the first floor. She's been there longer than you. She was right. I called my lawyer the next morning. Guy named Bill Murray. No jokes, he'd heard them all. We'd used him for the estate stuff after Helen died. Bill, I need to make an offer on a building. Investment property? My apartment building. It's for sale. I want to buy it before someone else does. We put in an offer that week. $1.42 million. All cash. The sellers accepted within 48 hours. Closing was April 30th. I didn't tell anyone. Not Emma, not Thomas, not the other tenants. I'm not sure why. Maybe I wanted to see what would happen. Maybe I wanted to know who my real neighbors were when they thought I was vulnerable. On May 3rd, I got a letter slipped under my door. Standard notice. Building management would like to schedule a meeting with all tenants to discuss upcoming changes. Please contact the management office at your earliest convenience. There was a phone number. I called it. Woman answered. Harbor Property. Management. This is Walter Sullivan in 2B. I got a notice about a meeting. Oh yes, Mr. Sullivan. We represent the new ownership. We'd like to meet with each tenant individually to discuss lease renewals and updated terms. Are you available this Thursday at 2? I'm available. Thursday at 2, there was a knock on my door. I opened it. Diane, my sister-in-law, standing there in a black pantsuit, holding a leather folder, hair pulled back, wearing glasses she didn't need. Behind her, Thomas, looking uncomfortable, wouldn't meet my eyes. Walter, Diane said, smiled. Corporate smile. All teeth, no warmth. Can we come in? I stepped aside, let them in. They sat on Helen's couch. Diane set her folder on the coffee table. Same coffee table where Helen and I used to do jigsaw puzzles on Saturday nights. I'm sure you're surprised, Diane said. You could say that. Thomas and I purchased the building. We saw it as an investment opportunity, a way to build equity and secure our retirement. I looked at Thomas. He was staring at the folder. Congratulations, I said. Thank you. Now, we wanted to meet with you first because you're family. We want this transition to be smooth for everyone. Transition? Yes. We'll be updating all the leases, bringing rents up to market rate. Your current rent is $950 a month, correct? Correct. Market rate for a 2-bedroom in this neighborhood is $2,800. We're prepared to offer you a family discount, $2,400 a month. New lease starts June 1st. I didn't say anything. We know that's an increase, Diane continued. But frankly, you've been paying below market rent for decades. This building needs significant updates. New roof, new boiler, updated electrical. Those costs have to be covered. You're more than tripling my rent. We're bringing it to market rate. Walter, you're sitting in a 2-bedroom apartment in South Boston. Do you really need all this space? I've lived here 43 years, which is exactly why you've been so fortunate. But Thomas and I have $1.4 million invested in this property. We need to see returns. She slid a paper across the table. Lease agreement, new terms, $2,400 per month, 12-month minimum, security deposit of 2 months. We need your signature by May 15th. If you choose not to renew, we'll need you to vacate by June 30th. I looked at Thomas. You have anything to say? He cleared his throat. Walt, it's business, nothing personal. Business. We're trying to be fair. Family rate. Most landlords wouldn't offer that. Most landlords didn't grow up sharing a bedroom with me. Diane stood up. We'll leave the lease with you. Think it over. But we need an answer by the 15th. They left. I sat there holding the lease, stared at it until the words blurred. Thomas and Diane had bought the building. My building. The place where I'd lived with Helen for 4 decades, where I'd raised Emma, where I'd said goodbye to my wife. and now they wanted me to pay $2,400 a month or leave. I called Bill Murray. Bill, when we bought the building, who's listed as the owner on the deed? You are. Walter Sullivan. Individual ownership. Why? My brother thinks he owns it. Your brother? Long story. What would happen if I told him I'm the owner? That's up to you. You own the property. You make the decisions. But Walter, if you didn't tell him you were buying it, I didn't tell anyone. Then you've got one hell of a conversation coming. I didn't sign the lease. May 15th came and went. No signature, no response. On May 17th, Diane called my cell. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Walter, this is Diane. We haven't received your signed lease. We need to finalize this. Please call me back today. I didn't call back. May 20th, she knocked on my door. I didn't answer. She slipped another notice under the door. Final notice. Lease must be signed by May 25th or tenant must vacate by June 30th. I put it with the first one. Stacked them on the kitchen table. Same table where Helen used to pay bills every Friday night. Checkbook open, calculator out. Everything organized in envelopes labeled electric and phone and insurance. I missed her. Memorial Day weekend. Emma and Michael came over for dinner. I made lasagna. Helen's recipe. I'd been making it every few months. Never tasted the same without her. Sophie helped me set the table. Grandpa, are these Grandma's plates? They are. I remember them. She let me eat cookies on them. She let you do lots of things I said no to. Sophie grinned. 8 years old. Helen's eyes. During dinner, Emma asked, Dad, have you heard from the new owners yet? About the lease? I've heard from them. And? They want me to pay more rent or leave. Michael looked up. How much more? $2,400 a month. Jesus, that's market rate, more than market rate. I'm aware. What are you going to do? Emma asked. I cut my lasagna, took a bite, chewed slowly. Haven't decided yet. Dad, you can't pay that. That's $2,800 a year. You're on a fixed income. I can afford it. That's not the point. It's your home. They can't just... They can. They own the building. Michael set down his fork. Walt, I work in real estate. This is classic. New owners come in, jack up rents, force out long-time tenants. Then they renovate and flip it or convert to condos. You've got some rights under Massachusetts law, but honestly, if they want you out, they'll get you out. Helpful, Michael. I'm being realistic. You should start looking for a new place. I can send you some listings. Emma glared at him. He's not moving. Dad, we'll fight this. There are tenant advocacy groups. Legal aid. I appreciate it, Emma, but I'm fine. You're not fine. You're upset. I can see it. She could. I was upset. Not because of the rent increase. I could pay it if I wanted to. I could buy 10 apartments in this building and not notice the dent in my savings. I was upset because Thomas, my brother, the kid I'd shared a room with for 18 years, the guy I'd helped get this apartment, had looked me in the eye and said, "It's business." Like I was a stranger. Like 43 years in this building meant nothing. Like Helen meant nothing. After dinner, I walked them downstairs, hugged Sophie, kissed Emma's cheek. Dad, Emma said quietly, promise me you'll think about your options. Don't just accept this. I promise. I went back upstairs, sat in Helen's chair, the blue one by the window. I'd carried that chair up 3 flights of stairs in 1982. Helen had bought it at a yard sale in Dorchester. Paid $12 for it. I'd thought it was ugly. She'd loved it. After she died, I couldn't sit in it for 6 months. Felt wrong, like I was taking her spot. Now I sat in it every night. I looked out the window. Dorchester Street. Same view for 43 years. The bodega on the corner. The bus stop. The tree we'd planted in 1987 after Emma was born. It was massive now. Branches reaching up past the 3rd floor. Thomas's floor. I made a decision. The next morning, I called Harbor Property Management. Same number from the notice. Same woman answered. Harbor Property Management. This is Walter Sullivan. I need to speak with Diane. One moment, please. Hold music. 90 seconds. Diane picked up. Walter, I'm glad you called. Have you made a decision about the lease? I have. I'm not signing it. Silence. Then, Walter, I understand you're upset about the rent increase, but this is the reality of, I'm not signing because I don't need a lease. I own the building. Longer silence. Excuse me? I own the building. I bought it on April 30th. My name's on the deed. You can verify that with the county registry if you'd like. That's not possible. We bought the building. We closed on... You closed on nothing. You never made an offer. I bought it 6 months ago. I could hear her breathing. Sharp, angry. You're lying. Call Bill Murray. He's my lawyer. He handled the purchase. Or call the county public record. Why would you? Because I wanted to see what you'd do. And now I know. Thomas, her voice distant, shouting. Thomas, get in here. Muffled sounds. Voices. Then Thomas on the line. Walt, what's going on? Diane says, I own the building, Thomas. I bought it in April. You and Diane don't own anything. Walt, we put in an offer. We were told, who told you? The real estate agent. Brad something. He said the sellers accepted our offer. We gave him a deposit, $50,000. He said closing was scheduled for You got scammed, Thomas. Brad took your $50,000 and disappeared. There was no offer, no sale. I bought the building from the Castellano estate. Cash purchase. Closed April 30th. Silence. Then Diane's voice in the background. Loud. Let me talk to him. Give me the phone. Thomas again. Walt, if this is true, it's true. Check the county registry. Building's in my name, has been for a month. Jesus Christ. Diane, he's telling the truth. He owns... The phone got taken. Diane's voice. Tight. Controlled. This doesn't change anything. You're still a tenant. You still need to pay rent. Market rate. Actually, I don't. I'm the landlord. I set the rent. And my rent is staying at $950 a month. You can't do that. There are operating costs. Maintenance. The building's been maintained for 43 years. I know every pipe, every wire, every crack in every wall. I'll handle maintenance. You and Thomas can focus on getting your deposit back from Brad. You son of a bitch. You did this on purpose. You knew we were trying to buy it and I bought my home. That's all. What you did after that, trying to triple my rent, threatening to evict me, treating me like I was a stranger, that was your choice. We're family. You owed us. I owed you nothing. You want to talk about owing? I got Thomas this apartment. I vouched for him when he had nothing. I helped him move, lent him furniture, and the first thing he does when he thinks he's got power over me, tells me it's business. He was trying to squeeze money out of his brother, and you put him up to it. You're a bitter old man who can't let go of a dead wife. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Anger, not fear, pure anger. Helen's voice in my head. That woman's got dollar signs in her eyes. I sat down, tried to breathe steady. The phone rang. Thomas. I didn't answer. He called 3 more times. I let it ring. Then a knock on the door. Hard, rapid. I opened it. Thomas and Diane. Both of them. Diane's face red. Thomas looked like he was going to be sick. We need to talk, Diane said. Pushed past me. Walked into my apartment like she owned it. Thomas followed. Walt, I'm sorry. I didn't know you'd bought it. If you'd known, you wouldn't have tried to evict me. We weren't evicting you. We were offering you a new lease. At $2,400 a month. You knew I couldn't afford that. I thought you'd move in with Emma. She's got space. You don't need 2 bedrooms. This is my home, Thomas. Helen died here. Every room has her in it, and you were ready to throw me out for profit. Diane cut in. We lost $50,000. $50,000 because you didn't tell us you were buying the building. I didn't owe you information. It's not my fault you gave money to a con artist. You could have warned us. I didn't know you'd made an offer. I bought the building and didn't tell anyone. That's not a crime. It's cruel. What's cruel is trying to triple your brother-in-law's rent. Thomas sat down on the couch, put his head in his hands. This is a disaster. Diane, we used our savings. All of it. We were supposed to close last week and Brad stopped, answering his phone. We'll sue him, Diane said. With what money? Thomas looked up. We're broke. We gave him everything. Diane turned to me. You have to help us. We're family. I stared at her. Family. That's the word you're using now. Thomas is your brother, and I'm his brother. Didn't stop you from trying to kick me out. We need help, Walter. We can't lose $50,000. That's our retirement. You should have been more careful. Careful? We trusted a licensed real estate agent. We did everything right. Except check if the property was actually for sale. Thomas stood up. Walt, please. I made a mistake. I see that now. But we're desperate. If you could loan us, loan you? Just until we get back on our feet. We'll pay you back, with interest. I looked at my brother, 68 years old, gray hair thinning, face lined with stress. Diane had her claws in him deep. Thomas, how much have you given me over the years? What? Money, help, time. How much have you contributed to my life? He blinked. I don't know. We haven't kept track. I have. When you moved in here, I paid your first month's rent and security deposit. $1,850 total. You said you'd pay me back, never did. When you married Diane, I gave you $500 as a wedding gift. You got mad it wasn't more. When your car broke down 2 years ago, I lent you $1,200 for repairs. You paid back $300. Walt, I was going to... When Helen was dying, you visited once. Once in 6 weeks. Stayed 20 minutes. Said hospitals made you uncomfortable. I needed help. Emma was there every day. You couldn't be bothered. Diane crossed her arms. That's not fair. Thomas was dealing with... I don't care what he was dealing with. Helen was his sister-in-law. I'm his brother. He didn't show up. Thomas's face went pale. I should have been there more, I know that. Now you want me to loan you $50,000? We're desperate. You were ready to make me desperate. $2,400 a month. You knew I couldn't pay that. I thought you'd figure it out. Move somewhere cheaper. Emma would help. You thought you'd force me out of my home and I'd just figure it out. Diane stepped forward. Walter, we made a mistake. We see that now. But this is your chance to be the bigger person. Help us. Prove you're better than... Get out. What? Get out of my apartment. Both of you. Walter, please. Out. Now. Thomas grabbed Diane's arm. Come on, let's go. We're not leaving until he agrees to... Diane, we're leaving. He pulled her toward the door. She resisted for a moment, then followed. At the door, Thomas turned. Walt, I'm sorry for all of it. I hope you know that. I don't know that. What I know is you looked at me like a tenant instead of your brother. I made a mistake. You made a choice. They left. I closed the door, locked it, stood there listening to them argue in the hallway. Diane's voice loud, sharp. Thomas trying to calm her down. Then footsteps on the stairs. Going up. Back to their apartment. I sat down in Helen's chair. My phone buzzed. Text from Emma. Dad, Uncle Thomas just called me. He says you own the building. Is that true? I called her. She picked up immediately. Dad, what's going on? I bought the building. Didn't tell anyone. When? April. Closed April 30th. Why didn't you tell me? I wanted to see what would happen. And what happened, I told her. The lease demand. The rent increase. Thomas and Diane showing up today after they found out. Emma was quiet for a long moment. They tried to evict you. They tried to make it unaffordable. Same result. And now they're asking you for money. $50,000. They got scammed by a fake agent. Serves them right. Emma, I'm serious, Dad. Uncle Thomas has ignored you for years, ever since he married Diane. And the first time he gets any power, he uses it to squeeze you. Now he wants help? No. He's my brother. He's an asshole. I didn't argue. Dad, don't give him money, please. He doesn't deserve it. I'm not planning to. Good. You worked too hard for your money. You and Mom saved for decades. That's yours, not Thomas's, not Diane's. I know. Are you okay? I'm fine. You don't sound fine. I wasn't fine. I was sitting in Helen's chair wishing she was here to tell me what to do. I miss your mother, I said. I know. I miss her too. We talked for a few more minutes. Emma made me promise to call if Thomas and Diane bothered me again. I promised. After we hung up, I sat there as the sun went down, watched the streetlights come on. Same streetlights that had been there for 43 years. The building was quiet. Monday night. Most people were home. I could hear Mrs. Kowalski's TV through the floor. The couple in 2A arguing about something. Normal sounds. My phone buzzed again. Text from an unknown number. This is Diane. You're making a huge mistake. Thomas is your only family besides Emma. When you're old and need help, who do you think will be there? Not us. You'll die alone in that apartment, and nobody will find you for weeks. I blocked the number. 10 minutes later, another text. Different number. This is Thomas. Diane took my phone, but I wanted to say I'm sorry again. I know I screwed up. If there's any way to fix this, please tell me. I didn't respond. A week went by. No contact from Thomas or Diane. I hired a property management company. Not Harbor Property Management. A different one. They handled rent collection, maintenance requests, all the administrative work I didn't want to deal with. I kept my own rent at $950. Kept Mrs. Kowalski's at $725. The young couple in 2A were paying $1,650. I left it there. Market rate for the top floor apartments was higher, so I adjusted those to $2,200 each. Still below market, but fair. Thomas and Diane's rent was $1,100. I left it there, didn't raise it, didn't lower it. The property manager asked about it. Mr. Sullivan, Unit 3A is significantly under market value. Do you want to increase it when their lease renews? No, keep it the same. Are you sure? You could get at least $2,400 for that unit. I'm sure. I wasn't doing them a favor. I just didn't want the hassle of finding new tenants. June came. Building was running smoothly. The management company was competent. Rents came in. Maintenance got handled. I didn't have to think about it. Emma and Sophie came over every Sunday. Michael stopped lecturing me about real estate. I didn't see Thomas. Not in the hallway. Not in the building. I'd hear him sometimes. Footsteps above my head. Door closing. But we didn't cross paths. Mrs. Kowalski mentioned it once. Walter, have you talked to your brother? I saw him in the lobby yesterday. He looked terrible. Lost weight. Didn't even say hello. We're not talking right now. That's a shame. Family shouldn't fight. Sometimes family fights. July 2nd. There was a knock on my door. Late afternoon. I'd been reading the paper. I opened it. Thomas. Alone. No Diane. Walt, can I come in? I stepped aside. He came in. Looked around like he'd never seen the place before. Saw Helen's chair. The photos on the wall. The coffee table. It looks the same, he said. Nothing's changed. Everything's changed. He sat down on the couch. I stayed standing. Diane and I are separating, he said. I didn't say anything. She blamed me for the money. Said I should have known better. Should have checked. We've been fighting for weeks. Last night she moved out. Went to stay with her sister in Quincy. I'm sorry. Are you? You're my brother. I don't want you to hurt. I hurt you. Yeah, you did. Thomas rubbed his face. I was stupid. The building, the rent increase, all of it. That was Diane's idea. She saw it as an investment. Said we needed to maximize returns. I went along with it because I always go along with what she wants. You could have said no. I know, I should have. When she told me to give you the lease, I should have told her you're my brother and I wasn't doing that. But I didn't. I told myself it was just business. It wasn't business. It was my home. I know that now. He looked at me. Walt, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know if I can, but I need you to know I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. I sat down in Helen's chair. You visited Helen once while she was dying. I know. You said hospitals made you uncomfortable. They did, they do, but that's not an excuse. I should have been there. For her, for you, I wasn't. No, you weren't. I can't go back and change that. I wish I could. So do I. We sat in silence. Finally, Thomas said, "Can I ask you something?" "What?" "Why didn't you tell me you were buying the building?" "Because I wanted to see what would happen. And now you know." "Yeah, I know you'd throw me out if you thought you could profit from it." "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" Thomas stood up. "You're right. It's fair. I proved I'm not the brother you deserved. I proved I'd pick money over family. You're right to hate me." "I don't hate you." "Then what?" "I'm disappointed." That hit him harder than hate would have. I could see it in his face. "I'll go," he said. He walked to the door, opened it, stopped. "Walt, I'm moving out. End of the month. I'll pay July's rent before I go. After that, you can rent the place to someone who'll actually appreciate what you did, keeping the rent low, being fair when you didn't have to be." "Where will you go?" "I don't know. I'll figure it out." He left. I sat there for a long time, stared at the door, thought about what Helen would say. She'd say I was being stubborn. She'd say, "Thomas made a mistake, but he's family." She'd say forgiveness isn't about him deserving it. It's about me letting go. But Helen wasn't here. I was. And I wasn't ready to let go. 2 weeks went by. I saw the moving truck on July 28th, Saturday morning, parked in front of the building. 2 guys loading furniture. I watched from my window. Saw Thomas carry boxes down. Diane showed up. Argued with him on the sidewalk. Left in her car without helping. By evening, the truck was gone. I went upstairs. Knocked on 3A. No answer. I used my key. Owner's privilege. The apartment was empty. Clean. Thomas had left it in good condition. No damage. Carpets vacuumed. Windows washed. On the kitchen counter there was an envelope, my name on it. Inside, a check for $1,100, July's rent, and a note. "Walt, thank you for being fair when you didn't have to be. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I hope someday you'll understand I never meant to hurt you. You're the best man I know. I'm sorry I forgot that. Thomas." I stood in his empty apartment. Same layout as mine, 2 floors up, different view. 43 years in this building. Helen and I had built a life here, raised Emma, grew old together, said goodbye. Thomas had been here 8 years, and in that time, he'd forgotten what family meant. Or maybe I'd forgotten. Maybe we'd both forgotten. I locked the apartment, went back downstairs. That night I sat in Helen's chair, looked out the window at Dorchester Street. The tree we'd planted in 1987 was still there. Massive. Branches reaching up. Emma called around 8. "Dad, I saw the moving truck. Did Uncle Thomas move out?" "He did." "Good." Emma: "I'm serious. He doesn't deserve to live there. Not after what he did. He paid his rent, left the place clean, wrote me an apology note. That doesn't fix what he did. No, it doesn't. Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "You don't sound fine." I wasn't fine. I was 72 years old, sitting in my dead wife's chair, wondering if I'd done the right thing. "Emma, your mother would be mad at me right now." "Why?" "Because I let Thomas leave. She'd say I should have forgiven him." "Mom didn't know what he did. She would have been furious. She would have been disappointed, and then she would have told me to fix it." Emma was quiet. Then, "Do you want to fix it?" "I don't know." "Then don't decide tonight. Sleep on it. See how you feel tomorrow." Good advice. I told her good night, but I didn't sleep on it. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Same ceiling I'd stared at for 43 years. Same cracks. Same water stain from when the upstairs radiator leaked in 1994. Helen's side of the bed was empty. Always empty. I hadn't moved her nightstand, her lamp. Her reading glasses were still there. I got up, went to the kitchen, made coffee. 2 a.m. Didn't care. Sat at the table, looked at the stack of papers. Building finances, rent rolls, maintenance logs. Thomas's lease was on top. Ended July 31st. Security deposit of $1,100. I'd need to return it. I had his new address. He'd put it on the note. Apartment in Quincy. Small place. Cheap. I could send the check, mail it, be done. Or I could drive over there, talk to him, try to fix this. What would Helen do? She'd put on her coat, get in the car, drive to Quincy, knock on his door, tell him to stop being an idiot and come home. But Helen was better at forgiveness than I was. She'd forgiven her father for missing her wedding, forgiven her sister for stealing from her, forgiven me for things I still felt guilty about. I never understood how she did it. Let go, she'd say. Holding grudges is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. She'd read that somewhere. Cross-stitch pillow or greeting card. She loved those sayings. I finished my coffee, watched the sun come up. At 7 a.m. I got dressed, got in my car, drove to Quincy. Thomas's new place was in a converted house. 3 units. His was the basement. Separate entrance. Concrete steps leading down. I knocked. He opened the door. Looked surprised. "Walt? Can I come in?" He stepped aside. The apartment was small. Studio. Kitchenette in the corner. Futon against the wall. Boxes everywhere. Thomas had unpacked maybe a quarter of it. "Sorry about the mess," he said. "Still getting settled." "It's fine." We stood there awkwardly. "You want coffee?" Thomas asked. "I've got instant." "Sure." He boiled water in an electric kettle. Made 2 cups. We sat on the futon. Only place to sit. "Why are you here?" Thomas asked. "To give you this." I handed him the envelope. Security deposit check. He opened it, looked at the check. $1,100. "Thanks. I'll need this. And to tell you something." "What?" "You're an idiot." Thomas laughed. Short, bitter. "Yeah, I know. Diane manipulated you. I get that. But you let her. You made choices." "I did. You tried to kick me out of my home." "I know. You ignored me for years." "I know. You visited Helen once while she was dying." Thomas set down his coffee, put his head in his hands. "I know, Walt. I know all of it. I've been thinking about it every day since you told me you owned the building. I'm a terrible brother, a terrible person. I don't know how to fix it." "You can't fix it." He looked up. "Then why are you here?" "Because Helen would want me to." "Helen's gone. She's been gone 3 years. I still hear her voice every day." Thomas wiped his eyes. "What would she say right now?" "She'd say you're both idiots, and you should stop being stubborn." Sounds like Helen. We sat there, drinking instant coffee in a basement apartment in Quincy. "Thomas, I'm not going to pretend what you did was okay. I'm not asking you to. But you're my brother. You're the only family I've got besides Emma and Sophie, and I'm tired of being angry." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying if you want to move back into the building, I'll let you. Same rent, no lease, month to month. If you screw up again, you're out. But you get one more chance." Thomas stared at me. "Why?" "Because Helen would haunt me if I didn't." "Walt, I don't deserve—" "You don't. But I'm not doing this because you deserve it. I'm doing it because I'm tired of being alone in that building, tired of avoiding you, tired of being mad." "What about Diane?" "Diane's not invited. This is for you, not her." Thomas nodded slowly. "We're getting divorced. She filed last week." "I'm sorry." "I'm not. You were right about her. Helen was right. Everybody was right except me." "You loved her." "I was lonely. There's a difference." We finished our coffee. "So," I said, "you want to move back or not?" "I want to. But Walt, I need to know we're okay. Really okay. Not just you tolerating me. We're not okay. Not yet. But we can get there, if you stop being an idiot." Thomas smiled. Small, tired. I'll stop being an idiot. Good. He moved back in 2 days later. Same apartment, 3A. I helped him carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs. At 72, I still had it. We didn't talk much while we moved boxes. Didn't need to. When we finished, Thomas made coffee. Real coffee this time. Not instant. We sat in his kitchen. Same kitchen layout as mine, 2 floors up. Walt, thank you. I mean it. Thank you for giving me another chance. Don't make me regret it. I won't. He kept his word. Over the next few months, Thomas and I found our way back to something that looked like brotherhood. Not the same as before, but different. Maybe better. He started coming down for coffee on Saturday mornings. We'd sit in my kitchen and talk. Not about Diane, not about the building, just life. Work he was picking up doing electrical jobs under the table. Sophie's soccer games, Mrs. Kowalski's complaints about the radiators. Normal stuff. Emma was skeptical at first. Dad, are you sure about this? He really hurt you. I'm sure. People make mistakes. Big mistakes. He's trying. He better be. By October, things felt almost normal. Thomas joined us for Sunday dinners again. Emma was polite, but distant. Sophie didn't notice. She was just happy to have her uncle back. One Sunday in November, we were sitting around my table. Lasagna again. Helen's recipe. Sophie said, Grandpa, do you think Grandma would be happy we're all together again? I looked at Helen's empty chair, the blue one by the window. I'd moved it to the corner of the dining room. Couldn't bear to sit in it during dinners. Yeah, sweetheart, I think she'd be happy. I miss her. Me too. Thomas cleared his throat. Helen would definitely be happy, probably making fun of me for being stupid. Emma smiled. She would. She'd say, Thomas, you're an idiot, but you're my idiot. That sounded like Helen. After dinner, Thomas helped me clean up. Emma took Sophie home. Michael had already left. Something about a property showing. Thomas and I stood at the sink. He washed. I dried. Same way we'd done dishes as kids. Walt, can I ask you something? What? Do you think you'll ever really forgive me? I set down the dish I was drying. I don't know. Some days I think I have. Other days I'm still mad. That's fair. But I'm trying. That's all I can do. That's more than I deserve. Yeah, it is. We finished the dishes. Thomas went upstairs. I sat in Helen's chair. The building was quiet. Sunday night, everyone home, Mrs. Kowalski's TV. The couple in 2A laughing, Thomas's footsteps above my head. Normal sounds. I looked out the window. Dorchester Street. Same view. 43 years. The tree we'd planted in 1987 was losing its leaves. November. Getting cold. Helen and I used to sit in this chair together. Me in the chair. Her on the armrest. We'd watch the street. Talk about nothing. Everything. I miss that. I'd probably always miss that. But I had Emma. I had Sophie. I had Thomas back in the building. I had Sunday dinners. I had a life. Not the same life, but a life. Helen would say that's enough. I think she'd be right. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.